welcome to another episode of the Nordic Takedown podcast. I am not quite sure which number it is. I should probably have checked that up before we started, but here we are. And today I have Jonah with me.
Hello.
Hello, the one with friends.
And while we so casually talk, it looks like it's 24?
24, nice. This felt like a sports commentator saying like a number like 24.
Wow.
But yeah, 24 episodes in, it's you and me today. I think Jason is out playing cards.
That's great. That's what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. So what have you been up
sideways. I've been turning some cards sideways, mostly digital cards, but I also, let me think, when did we record last time?
Yeah, it's been a while since you were here.
No, I was on last week, but I think I managed to talk about the weekly I visited last week. I didn't get to go this week, but in the weekend I got to attend a draft, which was super fun. Got super lucky, got a Kylo's tie and Kylo, and I played the Ray deck, so that was like super thematic. But I faced really good opponents, so I went to 1 and 2.
Ooh, but double legendary, you know. It works.
Yeah, that was insane.
That works. Yeah, and you've been playing. We've both been playing some TTS League, the Take the Initiative Top Cuts.
Yes.
We played those games so fast. So from last time, we both made it out from the last 16, and let's start talk about your last 16. We've also played the quarters, but how was your last 16? It was against Sabine, right?
Yeah. So in the top 16 game, I faced Buku playing a Sabine green list. Pretty interesting one, actually, with 3 timely interventions.
Yeah.
That's a card that's been... I haven't really considered it in Sabine. More, I've considered it in mid-range decks, like a rampy Young Han or something like that. But it's actually grown on me. It looks... pretty nice in games where you just need some extra damage in.
Yeah.
Let's say you've ECL'd your Wrecker already, and then you haven't managed to end the game. You're on 8 resources, and then you can just use the Smuggle and play another Wrecker for like 5 or 6 overwhelm damage, right? Pretty sick. So that was very close games. However, Han Green into that type of deck is not something I should win. It's probably like 70 or 80% win chance for Sabine in that matchup, I would say. But I got super lucky, and in all of my games got a 2-drop and resupply in my opening hands, which is amazing. And in addition, in 2 of those, I also had a U-wing. So pretty disgusting.
You had like the whole game plan to 7 resources just set. You just had to sit and watch and suffer, basically. Yeah. That's nice. So, and in the last set, it wasn't really like that, right? It was easier for Green Han to deal with Sabine.
Definitely, yeah. The problem now is the Poen Wreckers that just take over the board.
Yeah. So without resupply, it's a lot harder to deploy a Han. But like since you got to cheat that out, he could get out like before he could get pulled, really.
And the really Han unit is really nice into Wrecker.
Yeah. And
because if they don't have ECL anymore and you have a Han unit just on the board, there's nothing they can do, right?
Yeah.
Except for maybe a timely intervention. So there actually that card is useful, right?
Yeah. So that's nice. You was it a 2-1 or 2-0?
It was a 2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
But both my top 16 and top 8 game is on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out.
You should. I'm playing in one of them. So yeah.
Okay, what about your game?
Let's see. Trying to remember. I was playing Boba Yellow, and I submitted a pretty shitty list. I must admit. There was like I've been working on it, and I think now maybe it's even 10 cards different from that list, which makes quite a huge difference. Um, I played more against like a standard Sabine list as well in the round one. I think he ran the 3 Dark Sabers.
Yeah.
That is maybe the exception. Not everyone does that, but it's not completely uncommon either.
Yeah.
No timely intervention. It was more standard, just hit
Yeah.
you in the face stuff. But cunning is pretty good in that matchup. So I got to use that a bit, and I think it was a 2-1 where I took down the first one.
2-0 it says
Was
here
it?
on
Then it was
the
2-0.
bracket.
I am quite. I'm quite nice as a person.
Yeah, and that game
Maybe
was
it was
streamed, right?
really close. Yeah, it
Or
was streamed.
yeah.
It was streamed, and yeah, 2-0 probably is correct. Yeah.
So you can check out the VOD on probably Take the Initiative's YouTube channel.
Yep. But if I remember correctly, which I apparently don't, I think cunning is super huge, and in that matchup, cunning is like what makes Boba favored. Like if you play
Into
one
Sabine,
cunning, I get into Sabine, you probably win the game. If it's a good one, if it's like a desperate one, maybe you don't like. But that card really changes the tempo, since she has to do 30 damage to your base and you only 25. You can start race. So even with like this poorer version, because what I mean was the poorer thing was like I didn't have more than one DL blaster, and I played 3 booties. Those are really bad. Booties are so bad against a lot in this meta, actually. Like since there isn't. I know there's been more control things coming up now, but at the time there was absolutely nothing. So it was just like many times it's a 3/3 body that misses, and that is not adding pressure on the board. I think that happened when we faced in the quarters.
I mean, it's pretty decent into Han actually if you have the initiative and might be able to take out the resupply or taking out the Ewing, but I agree it's not something you want on the main board probably.
Yeah. And if it's versus Han Yellow, maybe, but Han Yellow, for example, has even less events, so it's a bigger time to miss. We both won our games, and then we were on the same side of the bracket, so we faced up. So since you were the winner, spoiler. So let's. How was the games for you? They all were pretty close. Maybe not the first one that I won, but the other 2.
Yeah, I think the first game you had. To be honest, I don't remember the details of the games. You had some great fire sprays. I'm just gonna put up the footage here, see like the end state. Yeah, you had the first game you had a really nice space presence, and I kind of neglected that, resourcing a Falcon early on and mostly focusing on the ground.
Yeah.
And the second game was definitely the longest, dragging
that one was
out.
tight. Yeah.
But I kind of got saved by some Kira's, or
I think Kira prolonged the game, so I had to like deal with her first because I couldn't play.
That's a side note I wanted to mention also against Sabine. Kira actually turned out to be maybe the most important card.
That is good. That's cool to
because
we've hyped her a lot here on the podcast. So
as I said, like Wrecker is just so difficult to deal with. So you just play Kira, say Wrecker, regardless if they have it in their hand or not.
Unless maybe they have Poe and ECL ready.
Yeah. Sometimes
but
you would.
At least you see the hand, so you can either choose Wrecker or Poe. Like if you see Poe on hand, just say it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Jonah 1-1, and you have not played your semifinals yet, right? Because we played this basically like one day after we both were through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did not like practice anything in the matchups
Yeah.
versus each other or something like that.
But the other two quarterfinals have, or not all three, but two of the other three
Yeah.
quarterfinals have been played. So in one of the semis, we have Sabine Green against Krennic Green.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. This is a ECL version
Very
of
interesting.
Krennic. Krennic actually beat You Can Call Me Al, the previous TTI League winner.
Who was playing?
Avastator is playing Krennic.
Yep. Yeah.
And then he beat Rebel Resource, a very...
The Sabine Yellow player.
Yeah, the Sabine Yellow player now moved on to Han Yellow.
Yeah, okay. I can see
Krennic
that.
won that 2-0. Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get some crazy tech DJs and...
Yeah, or super nasty cunnings.
Yeah. Krennic should be able to deal with it. And then lastly, the game that hasn't been played is Kotul against Sip, Palp Green against Han Green, where the Han is now the one from Shadows of the Galaxy. So that's more of a aggressive deck,
Oh yeah, exactly.
but with some top end, with like Power Wreckers and some guerrilla attack pods, even an IG-11 in there.
Yeah, maybe does it run a Crate Dragon, or is it too
No,
late?
but they run home ones in the side, I think,
Okay, yeah. So,
which are pretty good for 7.
pretty good for 7. Yeah, I'll say. So that is like the tournament live. Other than that, we are going to focus a lot on the spoilers today, like more of a spoilers episode. We
Because we
decided
basically haven't talked about Twilight of the Republic.
at
And
all.
I think
Yeah.
probably 90% of the fan base is super excited for that, right? Because the prequels are so popular.
Yep, they are now. They weren't 10, 15 years ago, but now they are. I am super hyped for that.
It looks so thematic.
Yeah, I have like stayed out of it a little bit because I try to. We talked about that when it was spoilers for this set in the last, because it was in the middle of the tournament season, right? And there's, as long as you're going at tournaments, it's no point worrying about the next thing.
Yeah.
But the tournament season has not really kicked off yet here, so which makes it a bit funnier to look at it,
Yeah.
Not necessarily crafting decks, but
Just hyping it up a little bit.
And like Ahsokas and Anakins and stuff, like, and Grievous. It's the characters you kind of grew up on a little bit, like that. I'm just waiting for that mighty leader Jar Jar Binks that's gonna be like too OP to handle. So that is a showcase I want to play with. Jar Jar Binks showcase.
Nice. All right. Do you want to just look at those now?
Yeah. You can lead it, because since you have watched it a little bit more than me.
Okay, so there was an article, I think, showcasing the starter sets, which are General Grievous against Ahsoka Tano. Then, of course, the young Snips version.
Yeah.
And Grievous is a 6-cost cunning villainy leader with 4 power, 8 health. He's a separatist and an official.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's really a droid matters thing. He can exhaust to give a droid sentinel for a phase. And when he's deployed, he on attack can give a droid unit +1 and sentinel.
Yeah. He looks, actually, for being a starter leader, quite good.
Yes, I think the sentinel is really easy to play around. Like, you can always use it. You're gonna have so many droids in your deck.
It's like a little bit like Shui, but like it's not when you play. You just need to have it before, which is a solid one.
Yeah, and he's pretty well statted, right? 6 cost is a very common deploy cost.
Yep.
But 4/8 is pretty nice.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nice. Unless they like power creep it a bit. Like, it's still not Boba Fett numbers, but and they are competing in the same color. But if you go droids, like a make it like a more defensive, mid-rangey droid deck, I think
Yeah.
he could be like the leader of that for sure.
Hmm.
Uh,
And
but it's always
like
hard to compete with Boba.
Cad Bane is a 2/8, right? With raid 2.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's true.
you could argue
Exactly. Yeah.
Grievous is like a little bit better statted than him.
Yep, and he is official, which is kind of important in some, like if you want to play with green and play with Palpatine's royal guards
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, and I hope we're gonna see more keyword synergy in the future,
Yeah,
or trait synergy. It's called. Yeah.
yeah, and separatist might be something. Now the
Yes, it
separatist
definitely
enters.
will matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
on
yeah.
the other side, we have Ahsoka,
Yep.
which is a Force, Jedi, and Republic. So
Yep.
Republic is new, right? I think.
I think so. Yeah, Republic and
Yeah.
separatist is new.
Yeah.
I think we have like rebels and resistance, and then we have like empire.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
first order, right? Or the order. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ahsoka is a 5-cost aggression heroism leader. 3 power, 6 health. So not that high stats, but she has a new keyword called coordinate, which says gain this ability while you control 3 or more units.
Yeah.
So that means if you deploy Ahsoka and have 2 other units, she gets the coordinate ability, which says this unit gets +2/+0.
Yep.
So then she's a 5/6 for 5.
Which then becomes pretty good stats, right? It's like Boba stats, but with a higher on the attack,
Attack,
which
yeah.
is strong.
Yeah.
But if we talk about how the game is played right now, getting to 3 wide is not that easy in the early game, I would say.
Yeah. But I think this set is gonna give us tools to actually be able to do that, because coordinate seems like it's a important keyword for the Republic, putting a lot of clone troopers on the board.
Yep.
But before we move on, the normal ability of Ahsoka is the action exhaust actually has coordinates, so you can only use the exhaust ability, I think, if you have 3 or more units.
Oh,
so that's
yeah,
pretty
I think
interesting.
so too. Yeah.
Because it doesn't say action and then coordinate, it says coordinate first.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, you can't use it to stall like you can with Iden, for instance, and heal, even
Nothing.
though, yeah. But it says exhaust to attack with a unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting, and I know we stay a little bit too long maybe on these leaders, but like since she's like this force unit that is red and white, and we're gonna come to Anakin later, that's also red and white. They are like enabling Mace Windu a little bit more, right? To go force package in this as well, without necessarily playing blue. You can have the force throw thing.
Yeah, because force throw has been the powerhouse of the force package, but you've kind of needed blue because of Yoda, Kanan, and Luke.
Yep.
But maybe red can be enough, and you can play it with.
Especially if they spoil something more. Maybe I'm not sure if we are gonna get like a green Jedi side, because it has to be a hero. But if there was to be one of those, that could be an interesting way to play a red-green force package, like a little bit like villains do. So
Ponkrell is probably
true.
Force,
Double
right?
Green though, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a double green with red base.
that's a problem,
I guess,
yeah.
but then you can't.
Yeah, but maybe we're gonna see some other command Jedi's, or just force sensitive in general. All right, so moving on to the kind of game mechanic thing here. We have some cards that can make tokens now, which is super cool.
That is so interesting. Yeah.
So we have, for instance, Rex. He's Captain Rex, lead by example, a 6-cost command heroism unit, Republic, clone, and trooper. So hopefully we'll get more clone synergy as well.
Yep. most likely.
He's a 4/4, so not that good for 6. But when played, he creates 2 clone troopers, and those are 2 2s.
Yes, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Like
Yeah,
it's like he's basically an 8/8 divided
yeah.
that you have to like. Sure, it's like overwhelming barrage, wet dream to see that coming out, but
Or Snokes.
oh yeah, or Snoke. Yep.
Like Snoke is gonna be so good in the new set because it's all about going wide in the set, right?
Yeah, that is gonna be weird. Everyone's gonna have to have a way to deal with removing Snokes, but I think he's a good card if not Snoke is around. And
Yeah,
a 2/2 is not to be neglected either, especially
yeah,
if you have some trick things to buff damage. Like
yeah.
if you are
We,
a like control player, unless you have Snoke, you have you cannot take out multiple people that often in one
yeah.
thing in one action. So having like 3-4 units that going to be able to like ship in that last damage.
We're
Uh,
definitely gonna have something like all of your clones get +2/+0 or
yeah,
something like that, right? That's gonna be
definitely.
sick.
Uh, so that's pretty cool. That is like a new game mechanic that doesn't really change the game too much, like Smuggle,
Yeah,
which I like because the game is very good as it is and doesn't have
yeah.
to be necessarily overcomplicated. And
Mm.
this is like a mechanic that is not hard to understand
No,
at all. It's
but now you do need to bring some battle droid and clone trooper
yeah,
tokens when you play.
but you already did that with experience tokens and shields if you played
Yeah,
it the correct way, and now you just have now you just have like a little larger stack, I guess, with those cards.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um,
All right. So
so
then we have
but you have like a trait here that you were really excited about, exploit, that there is on the example for the Hellfire tank.
yeah, the separatist side. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool, I think, because if you remember a month ago or something, we got the 2024 convention exclusives,
Yes. Yeah.
and there we saw Asajj. She's a 4-cost aggression villainy, 2 power, 4 health
Yep.
unit. I think it's aggression. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell because the
I think it's
exclusives are in
aggression
black and
villainy.
white.
Yeah, aggression villainy, I say.
And she has exploit, but it didn't say what exploit does. So people
Yeah.
were like
Is she good?
theorizing,
Is
like,
she
okay,
shit?
maybe it's like you have to exhaust some units, or when it attacks, you can kind of uh, defeat an enemy unit with that much power, or something like that. But now it turns out exploit is kind of a cost reduction thing. So
Yeah.
it says while playing this card, defeat up to, and then X units, where X is the exploit
Yep.
number. So if it has exploit 2, you can defeat up to 2 units you control. And the card you play costs 2 less for each unit defeated this way.
So that's what it meant. I actually thought that exploit 2 meant like you defeat one and you get 2 resources from it, like discount. And if it said exploit 3, you got like 3 discount for 1.
Oh,
That
it might be that, to be honest, because we've only seen exploit 2 so far. But I
um,
thought it would be a cap on how many units you're allowed
ah
to sacrifice instead of how much reduction you get. But only the future can tell, to be honest.
yeah, but either way, that's a pretty cool thing. Since
Yeah,
if you have like if the exploit is kind of just let's say like worth like
yeah,
that it isn't too expensive, having
yeah,
early units that does something and also is resource is like
yeah,
it's like another way of ramping into a bigger unit
yeah,
potentially,
yeah.
which is kind of
So maybe
cool.
you could use the Hailfire tank as an example. Just read it out.
Yeah. So the Hellfire tank is a 7/6 for 8, which is like with a separatist droid vehicle tank. We don't know how good that will be yet. But while playing this card, defeat up to 2 units you control. This card costs 2 less for each unit defeated that way. This way. Um, so you can basically play these first turns out, do some stuff with your units, then you like attack with those, and then on turn 4, 4 resources, I mean, if you still have those 2 alive, you just murder them and play an Hellfire tank, and you have a 7/6 on turn 3.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
So as long as you don't face Power of the Dark Side, that is pretty good.
Yeah, but it really synergizes with the new theme of just creating these tokens that you just
Yeah.
want to get rid of, to be honest. So
Yeah.
we have a new villainy card as well, the Battle Droid Escort, which is a 3-cost 1/1 Separatist Droid Trooper. Also a starter card from the Grievous deck. And it has when played or when defeated, when played / so it's both. Create a Battle Droid token. So essentially, you play for a 3-cost, you get 2 1/1s. You play the Hailfire tank, a 7/6 for 4.
Yeah.
And then you get another 1/1 to protect it from Power of the Dark Side. Woo.
That is pretty sick. Like this theme reminds me from a little bit like Star Wars Destiny had that. Not it's a different game, but you had like these go wide like leaders. You could play like with big Jedis or something, but you could also play with only droids as your leader, like go wide and like resurrect them and stuff. So it was all about the droids. Super annoying to play against, dragged out games, but it was a pretty cool mechanic, and it feels like they have found a way to make that, as you say, just spawn new droids into battle. It's war.
Yeah,
you have to produce more, and
that's cool.
Basically mass production in the movie, right? Producing clones, producing droids. It's a it's a merchandise. So that's gonna be cool. I hope it's gonna be good as well.
Yeah, true. I feel like they really captured the feel of the Clone Wars, just having a lot of small troops.
Yeah. But there was also leaders in the Clone Wars. And one of those was Anakin, right? And he's coming. First Anakin, right?
Yeah, but we've only seen the unit Anakin so far.
Yeah, I meant like leaders on the field.
On the battlefield, yeah.
On the battlefield. And this is supposed to be like that, right? Supposed to synergize with Snips. Comes out on turn. You can play him on turn 5 when she flips. Both having coordinate. But he has on attack draw a card. If he coordinates, right? How would you rate this Anakin card? It's 6/6, so that's like starting to be the new 5-drop stat line. Poe had it last set. Now Anakin has it this one.
Yeah, and Zuckuss also.
Yeah, Zuckuss as well. Yeah.
I think it's cool to see Anakin. Nice to see a Force Jedi Republic, and I like that it kind of plays into the coordinate thing. But I think the power level is under Poe.
Yeah.
Because Poe is so versatile with the different options on the unattack. Yeah. And the fact that you don't need other units for him to work. Like, there's no condition there. So I think it's a nice card. Might see play in competitive decks, but maybe won't.
It's...
Either. Yeah.
It kind of depends, like... The problem still stands in Star Wars Unlimited, in my opinion, with cards that cost more than 4. That if they don't do anything like when played, they are usually just worse than any other that has a when played effect. Because almost every deck has like an answer. You don't really put down, even now this set, you don't really just put down a Poe on turn 5 and feel that happy. And he's like a monster. It's cool if he survives, but many don't like. Many times when I played like Rey, for example, like playing Poe on 5 is not that fun because I submit all momentum and all they have to do is maybe trade a little unit into it and take down, and I got nothing. And Anakin has that same problem. So unless that is something changing in a way, I don't know how. these not when played boys is gonna still like struggle to find themselves in the meta,
Yeah,
but probably a
I
pretty
agree.
strong. Yeah, he's not gonna show up in draft, so yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still cool. You have to consider. We always talk about the competitive side and kind
Yeah,
of try to critique a card, but it's also just the awesome feeling of
yeah,
deploying Ahsoka and playing Anakin, and they're together on the art, and they're really synergizing and facing Grievous. Like that's gonna be a great starting deck
yeah. If you
experience.
just play like the starting decks, you're gonna have a real fun, and you're gonna probably really feel the battle, like
Yeah,
between the Separatist and the Republic. Um, so that's going to be cool. Uh,
yeah,
we did never talk about, as you mentioned them a little bit, Asajj and Darth Maul.
yeah,
Uh, should we talk about Maul a little bit as well?
yeah.
Uh, since since we are touching this set, and he was actually spoiled before any of these cards, so we're actually like doing him a little bit of a disservice to leave him out so late. Uh, he I guess he has the same problem that he doesn't do anything when he arrives. But do you think his ability, or what would you call it, like makes up for it? Since it
um,
says that I'm just gonna read it for
yeah,
people.
do
I
it.
remember we are not doing video. uh, Darth Maul, he's a Force Sith, aggression villainy, 5/6, and then he has this unit can attack 2 units instead of one, which is the first unit that can do that. That I know, except maybe Mace, but he doesn't do it in one swing. So
Yeah.
uh,
I think it's very situational,
yeah,
right? If your opponent has a crate dragon and a wrecker,
mm,
and both are damaged, so they have 5 or less remaining HP,
yeah,
and you attack with a Darth Maul, maybe with a timely intervention, smuggling it in, ambushing Darth Maul onto both of them, that's going to be crazy good, right?
yeah, that's true
Basically, a
because he
way
doesn't have
to.
to survive both, or even
No, yeah.
one of them.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so I think if you think with ambush, you can kind of think of this as deal 5 to 2 units,
yep,
and sometimes a very uh, not likely case, he's also going to survive
yeah.
if both of those have a combined power
I
less than 6.
I guess he could be pretty good if you play like green red villainy with ECL,
Yeah, yeah,
like as a mean to come to like maybe Vader and stuff like that, versus like the aggros on mid range. Like, hello, I take out 2 of your units right away,
yeah,
which stops quite a lot. And then you kind of have to deal with him because next round they could barrage with him when he hits two new units.
yeah.
Um, so he's a little bit
I
like Poe, I guess, in that sense that he with ECL he could be pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, we have done the assumption that both units deal damage to him back, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, it would be kind of broken. It would have
yeah,
to
yeah. I
say
think so.
like
He
you
says
attack
attack.
one unit
Yeah,
and then you may deal 5 damage to another unit.
yeah. No, I think
But
he you
yeah,
do, but if they have like he's gonna be so sick if against like defensive decks like with low attack but just have the HP
yeah,
like sentinels and stuff, or
yeah.
like
If they have,
Sundari Peacekeeper is gonna be very sad against Darth Maul.
dude, imagine you have 2 Sundari
Yes,
peacekeepers.
and he just
Holy
slices
shit,
them in half and
that's
laughs with
crazy.
4 HP left. Uh,
Yeah, that's a really cool.
and then he also is force, which is really good, like with the throwing cards. Works with Palpatine's return, I guess. We
Yeah,
still haven't seen anything super great for Sith. Hopefully that arrives here
yeah,
and that could change it a little bit too. Um,
could be cool.
could be cool.
Oh, I just noticed Count Dooku's separatist. Maybe he's gonna see
Yeah,
more
that's
play
true.
with the next set and more Separatist synergy.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like, I think he's a really good 7 drop, but right now
Yeah,
he's a little bit outshined of Vader and Maul.
yeah,
So he, if you can make a bit of a controlly version of the Separatists, and that you
yeah.
don't want green, which they usually do, but like a red. What do we say? Red blue control.
Yeah.
Then Dooku. Maybe just if you play red, blue, and wide because that's what you want.
Mm.
Then Dooku could be the end game, also
Yeah.
with Palp. Dooku into Palp. So not impossible. Not impossible.
Yeah. Okay, so final card.
Yeah.
We can just go over Asajj.
Yep.
She's a 4-cost villainy aggression unit that has 2 power and 4 health, Force Separatist Sith traits,
Yeah.
and she has Exploit 2, which means you can essentially play her for free.
Yeah.
Uh,
Essentially, yeah.
yeah, and then on attack, if you've attacked with another Separatist unit this phase, this unit gets +3/+0 for this phase.
Yeah. I think I don't know here like firsthand how many low cost separatist units there are in the game. Uh, there will probably be a lot more like the battle droids are.
Yeah,
If they're going to be an easy way to spawn them early, like imagine you can drop her on turn 2,
yeah,
and like then she's at 2/4 for 2 resources basically, or 3, I guess, depending on
yeah,
how it works. Um, she's I think she can be good.
yeah,
Um, and I guess it all depends on how easy it is to spawn droids, but
yeah. Let's think of the battle droid escort we mentioned earlier. The 3
yeah,
cost that spawns 2 1/1s,
yeah,
and when
true,
defeated spawns another one.
yeah.
So let's say you play that for 3, and then
Hmm.
you immediately sacrifice both to play Asajj
Yeah, and
and
get
end
one
up
other.
with a 1/1 and then Asajj. Is that good?
You basically play 2 cards to get a Sage and a 1/1
Yeah, that's not that good, maybe.
for 3, but you get a 1/1 and a 2/4 for 3. That's solid. It depends on how rough it is to lose a card extra, I guess.
Yeah,
And then, like, yeah, I think it's okay. It could even be like the round after. That's might be the round you want to do it, because then you could have attacked. No, I take it back. She doesn't arrive standing. It's not like that.
yeah,
Uh, but I think she's gonna see play, at least. People are gonna try. If it's easy, I think it's gonna be fairly easy to spawn battle
yeah.
droids, since they are only 1/1s. They are not like clone troopers. That's 2/2s.
True.
Um, and they could become like a leader. I feel like that maybe spawns battle droids. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like maybe a Watambor or Newt Gunray, and there's
Oh, nice.
that just has the droid factory that builds. Uh,
Yeah.
Maybe it will come like some support card, basically. Like you still play it on board, but it doesn't attack. But you like basically
Yeah.
produce droids until they knock it out.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Could be cool.
so
I hope we're gonna see some Geonosians as well.
yeah, most likely,
Have some synergy with the droids.
yeah, has to be, right. Since it's the Republic War, they were pretty involved.
Yeah, they had
You
like their
would say,
factories and stuff.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, no, I'm actually very hyped just because of the theme, not necessarily because we've seen anything that makes me want to, whoa, I want to bring this to a competitive event. But
Yeah.
I think I understand why they start, with the old theme with Vader versus Luke.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more hype with like Anakin versus Obi-Wan versus Maul, or Anakin versus Dooku.
Yeah.
I thrive more in that era.
Yeah.
So I really, if we talk about power creep, this is the set I would prefer the power creep, and then made a bad set after, probably, because I want to play around
Yeah.
with those characters.
Yeah, but on the topic of the next sets,
Yep.
the names have been spoiled.
True. You got
That's
them, right?
pretty hype. Yeah, I don't know like the exact order of these. I'm just gonna assume they're in the correct order on suodb.com.
Yeah, we'll have to
So
assume.
yeah, if that order is correct, then the set after Twilight of the Republic is going to be Jump to Light Speed.
Yep. What do you think a jump to light speed is? We just start.
The first thing I'm thinking is a space leader.
Oh yeah, maybe it's
Like you
just
can have
only space leaders.
Oh yeah, maybe actually, because on the art there's also like a space, an X-wing, and it looks like it's gonna be like quite
So maybe it's
pilot
like
focused. Or
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. There's going to be pilots that maybe when you flip, they jump into their ship basically, and
yeah.
so maybe then a new Han Solo,
In
maybe
the Falcon,
Lando,
yeah.
and stuff like that. That would be. I feel like that has to arrive at some point, just because that switches the dynamic on how you build decks like immensely. If you have to, like a ground leader and then you see, oh shit, I'm facing a space leader. How do I deal with this?
Yeah,
he's just juking
what's
me.
that called? Outmaneuver is gonna skyrocket in price.
Yeah, most likely. New definition of lane dodging is coming.
Yes,
but that's true. I did not think about that when you mentioned the name. I was like, this tells me nothing. Like space, it's always space in Star Wars. but when you said that maybe it's just a set full with space leaders, and focus on like making that sounds cool. What's the next one?
Legends of the Force.
Legends of the Force. And you think, and I think we were pretty agreed on that. That's going to be like what would you say, canon?
Yeah, it might be, because you talk about Star Wars Legends being like the other stuff.
So for people liking the comics and maybe like everything in the Old Republic, all things like that,
video games,
I think that's the set they're gonna start borrowing from that. And I know many like the Darth Revan, as you talked about before, and like there are quite a lot of like Afra is already from there, I guess. So they've already like sneaked in some of it, but maybe like a focus on that.
The Force Unleashed guy, like Darth Vader's Padawan,
Starkiller, right?
Starkiller, yeah.
Those games were nice. And he has the voice to in Maul in the Clone Wars. His voicing. So that would be cool. I feel like maybe the Mortis gods arrives because they are heavy legends.
Of course, Okay, the third one here is maybe the one I'm most confused about. It's called Secrets of Power. The art is kind of like purple. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit like Darth Plagueis, like there are secrets you could do with the Force.
Yeah, I was gonna think maybe like holocrons, like focus on Sith and Jedi holocrons, maybe like
ancient temples.
Exactly, like the Sith and Jedi planets, like the Luke's temple planet that apparently nobody knows where it was, and like the Exegol and stuff. Like a little bit, maybe it's gonna be like Force heavy. I'm like and focus a little bit more on maybe Sith and Jedi, and maybe Force removal things, Or,
and I also thought like the Witches of Dathomir, maybe they would fit in like Secrets of Power. I don't know.
Probably
just with the purple art.
yeah, definitely, because you said only Secrets of Power, right? It doesn't have to be the Force, right? So definitely the Witches is going to be there, I think, and Mother Talzin, and maybe Elizabeth Morgan Elspeth. So that's cool. So now we have spoiled for everyone what's going to happen the next year.
Yeah, but it
We'll
looks
see if
cool.
we're wrong.
So
Yeah, but it looks
stay
cool. So
hyped.
stay hyped. All right.
Okay.
Before we end up, we were gonna talk a little bit about preparation for Malmö, but we're gonna
Yeah.
skip that maybe.
Huh?
Not.
Are we? I
Uh,
mean, we can just briefly mention
yeah.
maybe that we have been playtesting
Yeah. A little bit
fair
more.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked last week that you were going to have a boot camp,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
true.
had my last week at work, so
You have not started the bootcamp just right yet, but because you took a vacation to Sweden first.
semi boot camp.
Yeah. Uh, I might not have bootcamped as hard as needed, but the Gen Con results
Yeah.
came up, so we got I think I got sidetracked. I was feeling quite confident in what to bring, so I was like, now I just need to prep all the matchups. But now I'm not so
Yeah.
sure anymore. I know you're not
I
as
feel
sure
like
anymore
we have had
either.
a flashback to set one, right?
Yeah,
With set one, we had Sabine and Boba being the most popular in the beginning,
yeah.
and then we saw the rise of
Of
like,
Krennic.
yeah, and now Kira.
Yeah, blue green medium control. Yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense because it's a little bit higher curved than Sabine and Boba.
yeah, and still has like some answers. I think the big problem for Kira and Krennic in this meta is that Sabine is way more lethal, like
Yeah,
later in, like with Krennic and Poe. No, it's not Krennic. Wrecker and Poe. Wrecker and Poe. They didn't really have that like at all. Like if you just dealt
yeah,
with Sabine, you couldn't steadfast battalion, and then you did like there
yep,
was nothing at all. But so we'll see where we land on that one. But it became more work to do than I'd hoped for.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, when you're playtesting decks or playtesting specific matchups, you can never be completely confident
Yeah,
because the heart of the cards is gonna make you win sometimes and lose sometimes, even though the matchup
yeah,
might not be favored. So it's also very easy to get recency bias. So for
yeah.
instance, you find a new deck you really like, and then suddenly you meet 3 yellow bobas and you just lose all of them, and you think, oh, it's completely impossible for me to win this matchup, and you kind of think, oh, I can't bring the deck to Malmö because then I'm just going to lose to Boba. But that might not be the case, right? You always have to take a step back and think, okay, what are the crucial things here? Is it
Yeah.
because I drew bad or didn't get the specific answers I needed? Maybe some changes to the list could change how this matchup feels.
True. Are
So
you playing best of threes, best of ones? Like, are you
yeah,
using your sideboard? I
that's a
did.
big one.
Yeah, I did. I play a game versus someone that played blue green control. He played Hondo, and I beat him with Boba. And he was like, "I'm
Yeah,
done making blue green control work because I'm. Why would? Can I just get your list?"
yeah,
and uh, but meanwhile, I think that it's starting to get rough against the blue green control. So
yeah,
people have different experiences, and you need to play the matchups a lot and not decide it after
yeah,
2 games, basically.
yeah,
So and and that is this the preparation is of course in relation to what we are going to Malmö Game Week SSW Open. Now it's almost 2 weeks, only 2 weeks left,
yeah.
almost like 16 days or something before the main event starts. And there is a tournament, Jonah, in Norway Moss, where you are reigning store champ, right?
Yeah, that's right. This Saturday, so a couple of days after this episode airs, the 17th of August, there's going to be a small tournament there, and the winner's going to get a ticket to Malmö Zoo Open. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Are you going there to like ruin the fun? for people, or
I haven't decided yet. It's a drive for me, so I'm gonna see if I have a car available or if anyone else is driving, and if I have the time. But
yeah,
if I go and get the ticket, then I of course would give it to the runner-up, since I already have bought the ticket.
yeah, that sounds fair. Sounds good. um, nice, and yeah, of course, shout out to that tournament in Moss, and then shout out to Malmö Game Week. It's coming along. Long. It's going to be definitely more than 64 people, I think, and that's going to be real nice. We'll see if it's going to be 6, 7, or 8 Swiss rounds on day one. It's
Yeah.
going to depend on the amount of players, but it's going to be real fun.
It's better to have one too many than one too few, right?
Yeah. More, the more games, the merrier, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we have for this week, right?
Yeah. We have been looking a bit into the future, or should I say the past, with the Clone Wars.
True. Since we're living in the Resistance era.
Yeah. Or what did Obi-Wan say in the episode 4? Like many years ago. I don't remember. In the Clone Wars. Imagine sitting in the theaters in 1977 and you're like, huh?
What's the Clone Wars?
Your father fought in the Clone Wars?
Yeah, that's such a great cliffhanger.
Yeah.
He made
and
that
then George Lucas
so
was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, I have to write the Clone Wars. And then he makes 3 movies, and the Clone Wars are barely in it because they don't focus on that in the movies. It's more about Anakin, and then they just make a complete big cartoon series about it. It's really cool. Love that it became so big. Star Wars. It's been fun for everyone.
Yeah. So the takeaway is you should watch the Clone Wars.
Yes. Yeah.
But the Clone Wars has also aged, right? It aired over many years.
True.
So the question is it still good to start watching it from episode 1 in 2024? Or do you need like a filler list or something like that?
I would say depends. If you're like a grown-up, an adult, maybe the first Clone Wars movie and the first season is a little bit childish and not too fun. But if you are watching with kids and you think they are barely like on the cusp, you could start with season 1 at least, because it's a little bit. The first 2 seasons, I think, are a little bit more happy. Then you go deeper into the war, and it becomes a little bit more darker, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think from season 3 and forward, it's very good, I would say, still.
Yeah.
As long as you don't follow the droids, sometimes you can skip those episodes.
Yeah, you can probably just Google and look at different arcs and find out what is cool. But if you are a Star Wars fan, you're probably going to enjoy it, so you should check it out.
All right. Promoting Star Wars is going to be our last thing here. So I'm going to say good night. That I don't know. Depends on when you're listening, I guess. It's night for us.
Maybe good morning.
Yeah, maybe good morning. Since it airs on the Thursday mornings usually. But thank you for making time with me today, Jonah.
Thank you as well for
not having you, but yeah. I think thanks to both of us, I guess. That's how we end it. Thanks to both me and Jonah for being here and providing you a podcast to listen to.
And you for listening. Otherwise, we have wasted our time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please listen. And that's the episode name. Please listen. Goodbye.
Please listen and please watch the Clone Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone, and may the force be with you.
Bye-bye.